begin reading about our patriarch Abraham in these next few sections of the Torah. And the Torah begins with some strange words. God says to Abraham, Lech Lecha. What does Lech Lecha mean? Lech Lecha means go to you. Rashi, the great commentator, says, go for your own benefit. You will benefit from that. But there are different shades of interpretations. Lech Lecha, go and find yourself. You will find yourself. You will find inspiration. You will find meaning by going. Another interpretation, Lech Lecha, means that by going, you will become yourself, become who you are meant to become. And these are different shades of meaning, and I understand what's the big deal, and I will tell you. Well, let me tell you a little scenario. Let's say you're a vice president in a corporation, and you need a new hiring for an assistant manager of a certain division. And this guy requires, or gal requires, many different positive things, many abilities. And you went and you had 40 applicants and you weeded out 10, interviewed 10, and you decided upon one of them. This person took you 6 months to discover. 2 months into the job, the guy is talking bad about the company. He doesn't like what's going on. And he's really demoralizing people. He has an opinion about everything, and nothing's ever good enough. And so what are your options? What can you do to help him? So step number 1 would be, learn what this person likes. Learn to bribe the person. Give the person incentives. And when you give the person incentives, that will take away his griping. A second approach is, give the person a long-term perspective on what he or she can do in your company. Show him that another vice president was doing the same kind of job that he or she is doing now, just 10 years ago, and now has this big, beautiful office with a huge 6 or 7 digits salary. And that will inspire the person. But you have a third option. And the third option is that you ask the person, what's bothering you about what's going on? What are the problems that are in your division? And the person will be reasonably certain to tell you what's wrong. Then you tell the person, you know what? I give you full control to change the things that you don't like. And I'll support your decisions. Report back to me in 2 weeks. That person has now become empowered, in control, and has the ability to decide and to do things that are beneficial for your company. That will transform that person into becoming an advocate for you. And this is exactly what happens with the story of Abraham. According to Rashi, this is for your benefit. These are side benefits to assist and to motivate Abraham to go and do what it is the divine intent. Also, by getting those blessings, of course, the divine intent will be fulfilled because God wants him to become a great nation. But in the process, these serve as motivating tools. This is reward and punishment used, or motivation used, for the person. Another perspective is that Abraham will reach a higher level of understanding and appreciation when you're in an environment that is well known to you. It's not conducive for personal growth. Abraham's going to a hostile environment will get him to become a better person. But the third and most important factor here is that this is you, that all that challenges and individuals that you meet along the way is part of who you are, and that it is your job in dealing with those people to realize that they have an important place in your life. And indeed, who you are will be determined by what you do with the people who come in contact with you. The idea behind it is that the person doesn't have to look for long-term inspiration or be motivated by gaining benefits, but rather, this is what you are. The challenges that come your way, the challenges and the individuals who come to you, this is the most important thing, because they are part and parcel with you as to what existence is supposed to be like. Lech lecha, go and become who you are by dealing with the outside world, by dealing with people. Those people and those events and those challenges are who you really are. They're part of you. And therefore, when you meet them, they're not just things that are there for you to become a better person. They have to be treated with the utmost respect, just as you respect yourself, because they and you share the same fate. The fact that you have to deal with that person is a sign that that person's got a connection with you and you with them. And therefore, because you and them are intricately connected, therefore you give them the same respect you give yourself. And when you can, you empower them. You give them the ability to discover who they are, not what you're standing for, but you give them the ability to discover what they can do. There's a very famous story of Rabbi Jonathan Sachs, whose book I will talk about at another time. When he met the Lubavitch Rebbe for the first time in 1966, the Rebbe asked him not what he wanted to gain. The Rebbe didn't try to impress him and motivate him, but rather the Rebbe asked him what it was that he had to be able to impart to the Jewish community. What were his strengths that he could do? What can you do? He empowered the future chief rabbi of the British Empire. He empowered him and showed him that he had an ability to change course of people, and that by directing and focusing his energies, he would be able to change people's lives. The Rebbe forever empowered him to go on a course of self-actualization. The Rebbe didn't just inspire him. The Rebbe made him become who he was. And that is the meaning of Lech Lecha. Become yourself, because in the process, you will treat others the way you want to be treated. In the process, you will teach them and empower them to do as much as they can for the purpose of the greater good.